And we're back, and it's time to solve our little puzzle here. So, it looks like we've collected enough evidence to go to the police. Pick the 4 clues that will help best to arrest this right suspect. Alright. That one. And that one. And... I'll take that one off because that one, that one, that one. Those are the clues we needed. Now point to the person you suspect of being the arsonist. Mrs. Case. No. Mr. Edwards. You're right. Mr. Edwards is the arsonist. Let's check the evidence. Mr. Grimes told us that he'd turned down Mr. Edwards' offer to buy his novelty store. We found a used matchbook from Swank's and an empty silver can at the scene of crime. At the police station, we learned that the fire at Grimes was started with acetone. At Swank's hotel, Mrs. Case told us that she heard Mr. Grimes refusing to sell his store to Mr. Edwards. She also said she gave Mr. Edwards a Swank's matchbook, like the one found at the fire. Mr. Edwards told us that he wasn't interested in buying Mr. Grimes' store, but he had the store's blueprints on his desk. The acetone that Mr. Edwards used to strip old varnish from antiques comes from the same can as the one that we found at the scene of the fire. You're right. Mr. Edwards burned down Grimes' novelties and gags. What are you two doing? Ha ha ha. Hey, Resulka's arson case is on the front of the Courier. Of course it is. That was cold, the way Edwards burned Grimes' novelties so he could take over the store. Thanks to Resulka, he'll get just what he deserves. This article belongs in a place of honor in the scrapbook, like all of them. Wow, new corn-flavored ice cream! I never would have thought about that. Ugh. Brass monkey owner tortures Grimes' novelties. It was really Resulka's detective work that led us to arresting Edwards, said Police Chief Barnes. Resulka's research uncovered acetone cans at Brass Monkey Antiques that matched the can found at the arson scene. With that evidence and the fingerprints we took from Edwards after his arrest, I'm sure we'll get a conviction, said Chief Barnes. After examining all the clues, Resulka figured out that Edwards set the fire at Grimes to get the Grimes location for the new antique store he plans to open, said Jennifer Eagle of Eagle Eye Detective Agency. Edwards' smoking habit helped to betray him, Police Chief Barnes said, but he'll have plenty of time to break that habit behind bars. That's cold. That's cold, man. Let's do the case of the reckless robber. Hello. Oh, there we are. I hate that black screen. Sometimes it lingers on for ages. TV? TV! Oh no, this is the police scanner again. Attention all cars. The Richview Community Bank has been robbed of $100,000. Investigation teams proceed at once to 2nd and Main. Wow, did you hear that? A bank robbery. Didn't we just hear the news about 4 convicts that escaped here in Richview? That's right. They jumped from the bus that was taking them to the state prison when it stopped downtown. I bet one of them robbed the bank. Attention all cars. The escaped criminals are being captured outside Swank's Hotel, but the $100,000 hasn't been recovered. Blah, my brain is just gone. Wow, they caught the criminals, but the bunny's still missing. Let's get down to the police station and see if we can help, and be turned away because we're just children. Which is what should happen, but, you know, it's not going to. Police Chief Barnes said we could see the police files on the 4 criminals. Let's see what we can dig up. Don't we know that's illegal? Hang on, I'm going to pause it just for a second. Alright, sorry about that. So yeah, let's see what we can dig up. The police file on Shorty Briggs is rather thick. A summary sheet is on top. William Shorty Briggs, age 34, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, same as last time. Missing thumb on left hand. Lefty poltroon. Same as before. Funny thing. Former heavyweight boxer, famous for his left-handed. Da-da-da. Go back. Froggy Forsyth, police file is packed with arrest records. His description and mugshot are on top. Cecil Froggy, 32, 6'2", blah blah blah. Has a former professor of English literature, has a slight limp and perfect manners. Police file on Red McShane contains arrest records from 7 different states. Ooh, he's classy. His photo and description are included. James Red McShane, age 33, blah blah blah. Part-time Bronco rider and cattle rustler, large scar on right cheek. Hey! Thanks for your help, Jennifer and Resulka. I'm sure it was one of these 4 escaped criminals who robbed a bank, and we have all 4 downstairs in the city jail. Once we identify the criminal, he'll tell us where he hid the money. He knows that the judge will give him a shorter jail sentence if he gives back the stolen cash. We interviewed Mr. Green and Mr. Washington at the scene of crime, but they weren't able to identify the robber. Any information you can dig up will help. Why does my phone keep going off? It's just ridiculous. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. Hopefully not. Either way, let's go to Richview Community Bank. Wait, isn't there usually a big piece of glass right next to Mr. Green? Looks like someone shut that whole thing down. Bank is almost empty. We were lucky it was Sergeant Nails at the door, because he knows us so well and he let us in. He knows us so well and let us in. He said we can't stay long though, so let's hurry. Hey, Mr. Green. The holdup took place just after 1 p.m. and most of my tellers were out to lunch after the noontime rush. I was just reviewing the bad checks when I heard the shot. The next thing I knew, a man with a mask was telling me to fill his bag with money. I could see his eyes through the mask. They were bright blue. When he hesitated, he lifted his arm straight to one side and shot at the wall. After that, well, I poured the cash into his bag. The teller windows are on one side of the bank lobby, and the long counter lines the opposite wall. Pens are chained to the counter next to the stacks of deposit slips. The wall above the counter is covered by a large mirror. The wall to the left of the teller hole has a bullet hole in it. I think that sounds like it's going to be Mr. Lefty. A video camera is mounted on the ceiling of the bank, so it can record any attempted robberies. The camera has been destroyed by a bullet. Intriguing. Let's go see Mr. Washington. Mr. Washington! Oh, Nicola Hamble, what are you doing here? What indeed are you doing here? Are we actually going to speak to you, Nicola, or are you just going to stand there with your funny pose? Mr. Washington was one of the witnesses to the holdup. Let's see if he can tell us anything about the bank robber. Yes, we're speaking to Nicola Hamble. I was filling out a deposit slip at the counter with my back turned to the teller when I heard a gunshot. I looked up and I could see the thief's back quite clearly in the mirror. His mask covered his hair, but I saw he was a big guy like a football player. Then he shouted everybody down, so I dived underneath the countertop. He had a gun in his right hand and shot a hole in the wall when Mr. Green didn't hurry with the money. I have to admit, I was afraid someone was going to get hurt. You can see the Richview Community Bank from the window of Washington's Jewelers. The bank is directly across the street. Hello, Nicola. I heard the gunshots just after Mr. Washington went across the bank just went across the street to the bank. I ran to the window right away and I saw a man with a mask over his head and a big black bag run out of the building. He jumped into a green car that was parked on the curb outside of the bank. He didn't take his mask off, so I never really saw his face. He was in a hurry to get away. I heard the tires squealing as he drove off. Interesting. Thank you, Nicola. Swanks. Oh, I skipped that. Oh well. Swanks Hotel is really fancy. The radio report said this is just where they caught the escaped criminals, just outside. Oh, I forgot to give you your accent. I'm sorry, Jennifer. Look, The welcome the welcome sign looks backwards in the mirror. Everything about it is reversed. So it really was Lefty. That guy just was looking in the mirror and he's crazy. A sign by the registration desk welcomes the National Tulips Grower Convention. The welcome sign says, phone. Windmill slideshow and clogging exhibition tonight. Clogging. Criminals at Swanks. The nerve. Some of them are actually caught just outside, but the police actually caught one of them here, just inside the restaurant. We served him a complete luncheon. A criminal, here in Swanks for over an hour. Oh, I can't bear it. At least he was a very polite fellow. Okay, well, that's everything. So, oh, and we're out of time. So we're going to come back and we'll solve this case in the next video. See you guys soon. Bye.